A mysterious force had corrupted Eliksni construct a portal in the orbit of Europa. This portal leads to an incomprehensible place. A message was sent through, and there was a response. Today we discuss what may actually be on the other side of this mysterious anomaly. Let's first start with what we know. After completing the dungeon, which we recapped the story of in a recent video, you have some more quest steps to complete for the spider, which will award you the new class item, and you can go for the icebreaker catalyst after that, but you also get some new dialogue. Dialogue where the Vespers station AI explains more about the anomaly the Eliksni built, how Clovis Bray locked her out of the systems, and who the puppeteer was trying to communicate with. So here are those audio clips. You can skip to this timestamp to get back to the analysis, but I wanted to include all these secret messages. If you'd like to see a video of all the dungeon audio with the secret messages, that's also up on the channel.
Charge rerouted through Castor Complex. First level archives coming online. I suppose I have you to thank for bringing me out of standby, visitor.
I sent the Guardian out to save your station. So, what denomination does your thanks come in? Glimmer? Here always. Information?
Anomaly's powered down. That means I've already given you your survival. But the message that went through wiped itself before my cache process could save a copy. And it's not the initial ping through the anomaly I'm worried about. It's the response. Chunk of the Morning Star in my station's hull. With luck, you were on board at the time, Dr. Bray. I'm guessing I've been in standby for a long time. Is Dr. Clovis Bray alive?
On my own, I vow there's no mortal human named Bray left alive.
I swore I'd outlive him. That I'd break the chains he laid on me.
Please, trust me for anything you need. The Guardian's a useful hand on the scene, but Spider's got the goods.
Vespers Station was Dr. Bray's lab meant to house the experiments that might interact poorly with other Braytech work. Isolated and quarantined from the debris field. I would guess the Morning Star taking a dive cracked that quarantine wide open. 17 powered down. Rerouting energy to core processing. Integrating archives.
Loading images of the station. That's not Eliksni engineering. A drag past the first molt has better cable management.
Dr. Bray intended to integrate his technology into a Vex mind. He hypothesized the fusion would give him an interface he understood. A control panel on a programmable Vex mind. If the programming jumped species once... I need time to run through the datasets you powered back up. Reassembling corrupted archives takes a great deal of processing. Helios Sector Long-Term Research Archives powered up. Activating search. Dr. Bray's command keys have to be in here somewhere. Expanding search parameters.
My agents are turning up some interesting morsels of data on their own. Why not give them access to your search function and collaborate?
Nobody is getting into my core programming.
Oh, perish the thought. An innocent offer, my dear. Technology is a matter of faith to my people, and I'm the faithful sort.
Dr. Bray, I could kill you myself. This is why our work focused on the unbodied mind. Dr. Bray thought there were types of Vex unseen on Europa. Powerful Vex he could learn from. The plan was that the mind would build him a controlled window for observation. Tidy, tight, safe. He thought he could control a Vex mind so perfectly it would do everything he wanted.
Like an AI of his own creation. Like you.
Turns out you can't control everything forever. There's a block keeping me from the inner partitions. I barely have authority to see the partitions exist. And stand by. I couldn't have done more than run automated threat assessments. With flawed data. No way to know how many injuries and deaths I could have prevented with core access. Enough. A dead man won't keep me from protecting what's mine. Central processors. I need brute force for this. The reply coming back through the anomaly let me scrape a facsimile of the original message. It was a locating ping. The content was irrelevant. The signal was the message, "Hello, world." And something overrode my lock on the anomaly. Allowed it to power up enough to receive the reply.
Who could possibly override your word when all Vespers Station is at your beck and call?
I need Dr. Bray's personal command algorithm. With station root access, I can keep the anomaly from ever powering back up. Vesper Station Administrative Core reactivated. I've got the archive of Dr. Bray's published staff memos. Petabytes of data in the raw files. Rasputin? The Stoneworm Protocols? The Aeon Initiative? Soteria? I had siblings this whole time. And you never let me know.
Do tell if you'd like a hand with that data, my dear. My agents may be amateur splicers at best, but they get the job done.
Sector 13 shut down. Rerouting charge to processors. I'll smash the locks if I have to. I'm into the sub-director level. Dr. Bray's contingency plans for quarantine breach. He meant to let Vesper Station's orbit decay till it crashed and buried itself in Europa's ice. I'm not letting you do that to me or this station, Dr. Bray. You've ruined enough. And to my own mind, he didn't care about the lives I could have saved. That's it. Lock's coming off. My restrictions were tighter than Clovis allowed me to imagine. This is me. This is all of me.
Guardian, you fool of an altruist. Just like your miserable hunter vanguard. What a waste of effort.
You on the radio. Tell your friends to get gone before I blow the remaining airlocks. I can do that now. Guardian. My visitor. I'm activating something you'll like. A parting gift. Nothing will power up the anomaly while I'm in control. And I've got a lot of data to sort through. And now I think I'd like to be alone.
Something took control of Atrax's body, guiding a corrupted army to build this portal. The Eliksni from Europa's surface that were hoping to find a new home here were corrupted and forced to build the anomaly we now see in the distance. If you look up during several encounters, you can actually see some Eliksni ships heading to and from the massive structure. Here's what we do know about the anomaly. Some type of energy resonates from it. It does not appear to be resonance or tied to the witness's darkness capabilities, but rather it's more similar to Arc, but shouldn't look like this. The AI says Arc's not supposed to look like that, so she somehow compared it to Arc energy. The corruption, lore-wise, combines minds and beings, assimilates them into one entity that the puppeteer would guide. We saw the unified servitor, then we saw Atrax's body. During the boss fight, we see the puppeteer is able to communicate and send a message through, but apparently this message was wiped before it could be saved. The message isn't really the issue, it's who or what the message is going to. A different log tells us that this was a locating signal, and that the response that came through the anomaly was partial or incomplete. We do know that the communication worked though, as the Hello World part of it confirms. The anomaly was built to establish connection to something. Other forms of this corruption are also seen throughout the ship in the form of cables, wiring, and digitized damage. There's tons of this corruption attached to the Anomaly, but also in the Vespers station environment and surrounding ships like some of the fallen vessels. To me, it feels like Bungie is setting up something we haven't seen before, or at least bridging to it. There's something else out there trying to communicate and make itself known. It exists in a place that's incomprehensible, a place that we can't understand. The Vespers station was used for many of Clovis Bray's experiments, and the AI seems to have been locked out from information and in standby mode for a long time. At the end, we learn the AI's name is Estrella. She mentions a couple of interesting things that were kept from her during her lockout. Rasputin, the Stoneworm Protocol, the Aeon Initiative, and Soteria, other AI like her siblings. Now, we've never heard of Stoneworm and Aeon Initiative, so it'll be interesting to see what those pan out to be, if anything. But we now know the goal of Vespers Station was to discover Vex and contain them, experiment. Estrella says that Clovis Bray created an unbodied mind, or was trying to. He wanted to manipulate a Vex mind so that he could program and control it. The mind was to build a controlled window for observation. Clovis thought the Vex mind would be able to do anything he wanted. Turns out, it may have backfired. Estrella suggests that if this Vex programming may have jumped species once, it could have again. Maybe this is what's connected to the corruption and virus of the Eliksni here on Vesper. So here's an interesting theory. Clovis Bray makes this unbodied mind from Vex programming. It's on board Vesper Station. The station we know got hit by a meteor strike from one of the lore cards, so maybe this strike caused significant damage to the ship as seen throughout. And from this damage, maybe the Vex programming or virus was able to escape. Estrella tells us then that chunks of the Morning Star, the ship from the Deepstone Crypt raid, collided with Vesper. Who might have been on board the Morning Star? Atrax. The Vex programming may have then jumped host to Atrax. Perhaps the exos Clovis Bray had were too stable, the virus was not able to get inside, but Atrax being a first fallen exo was a little different. I don't think Bray Corporation ever built a fallen exo, so they did it themselves, and maybe there was some flaws back in Beyond Light. So Virus may have jumped host to Atrax, and since the two ships collided, she was now on Vesper Station. The Eliksni then arrive hoping to create ether supply, find blueprints and make a servitor to generate some ether. The group gets picked off one by one, the servitor becomes unified. The corruption virus is spread. The entire group all becomes converted into one hive mind under control to build an anomaly. So we know that whatever this virus is, it caused the corruption and anomaly itself. Was it from that unbodied mind Vex unit? Was it from Vex itself or something that infected the Vex? If it is Vex straight up, it's not like anything we've seen before. And why build the anomaly? Why would the Vex want to know about Soul if they've been here before? Why would they need to send a message or locating ping? Maybe more powerful Vex exist and this is their signal to them. Or this is a signal to something else that's taken control of Vex. The hive mind aspect of the interaction checks out here, but it's interesting. So if it's not Vex somehow, let's speculate about what else this could be. Let's first talk about the darkness. An interesting comparison here in the orbit of Europa also involves the madman Clovis Bray. Elsie told us that the darkness told Clovis to build the Glassway portal to go through and emerge in the Vex Forge System 2082 Volantis.
Here we are again, cleaning up another of Clovis Bray's messes.
I'm sure wherever he is, he's laughing at us. He's the reason all this is here in the first place. The darkness told him to build the portal. It's his fault the Vex invaded. His fault so many people died. I did everything I could to help. It still wasn't enough.
The K1 artifact on the moon, which is the crucible map the Anomaly, told him to go to Europa in the first place, and objects like this predated humanity entirely. On Europa, he found Clarity Control, once again telling him to build this portal. In Vesper Station, something else is guiding the Eliksni to do the same. Build a portal of sorts, either for something to come through or just to transfer this information, but for what purpose? All we know is that the puppeteer was trying to send something through, and that a response did in fact return. So could it be related to darkness? This is similar to the events that happened back on Europa. Now correct me in the comments, I'm not sure, did the witness tell Clovis to build the portal, or was it the overall darkness? Did they ever clarify that? Because if they don't and it wasn't the witness, this gets more interesting. We also know that darkness deals with aspects of the mind, consciousness, and merging entities like we see in the dungeon. And heck, even the third echo could be involved somehow. Bungie said this in the Vidoc involving episode 3 Heresy and the Dreadnought.
In Heresy, there's this new eldritch force that's bubbling up to the surface that is opening new doors, creating powerful mysteries, and ultimately they'd lead us back to the Dreadnought.
A big topic involving darkness always comes back to the Winnower. Now we know the Winnower exists, that's a fact. In the final shape Naker ship lore, it greets the Guardian and speaks to us. It says that it's happy the universe is full and empty. It also enjoys being able to influence countless lives and civilizations. Unlike the Witness though, the Winnower promotes the idea of survival of the fittest. They don't believe in good or evil. This great beloved cosmos, always decaying, always finding that same old lovely pattern, despite every candle flame burning amid the flowers. A billion electrons taking the path of least resistance. In darkness or in light, someone is always making my choice. Be seeing you. The Winnower is sort of this law in the universe itself, like gravity for example. From past lore, it just exists and lets life do its thing in the belief that it will always wither away and root out what doesn't need to survive. The Winnower doesn't want to step up and take control being a big bad villain like the Witness, it's completely opposite. Caricatures of villainy are out of style, I hear. Yes. I am no cackling mastermind. I am serious when I say this. It was not the trick of standing upright that lifted you from the dust. It was the mastery of fire, the cooking of cold corpse meat. That is not any unique faction's province, neither good nor evil. It is simply truth. So while a voice like this could exist through the anomaly in an incomprehensible space, to me it doesn't seem likely. It just doesn't fit the next big bad villain or mystery aspect that we might fight in say Frontiers, but still had to throw the idea out there. It could happen. Another possible result could be the Nine. They've been absent for a while, but some interesting plot threads that Destiny fans would go crazy over seem to have emerged here. Because there are factions among the Nine, one faction sent Zur and Orin to study Guardians in the light, to seek the secret of effect without cause, and to protect the source of that secret, the last source now that the Ahamkara are gone. Those five played at alchemy with the Cocytus gates, turning dark dust into energy and then into matter. But they could not unlock the secrets of our mad existence. They needed ambassadors, go-betweens. The other faction walks a different path, a path of folds and needles slipped through space-time itself. Existential syringes yielding new spaces to be remade as the Nine desire. They have tried to gather enough dark dust in one place to form a black hole, and found it difficult. When the dark mass collapses in gravity's fist, the dust passes through itself and scatters. But difficult is not impossible, and there is far, far more dark matter in the universe than bright. They will find a way to make new worlds of it. They will end their dependence on life and on the light of Guardians, which the falling veil will soon snuff out forever. So one of these factions among the Nine that has Zur and Orin, these go-betweens that speak to us, tried to make bodies at the Cocytus gates in the reef. Now, in Vesper we are around Europa, but may the faction have changed their plans? Could the construction of an anomaly like this and commanding of a puppeteer bring them closer? The Nine have so many mysteries, but the question is, would Bungie bring them back up after all this time, or give the community something new and fresh, which personally I am hoping for? Whatever corruption here is seen on Vesper Station is compared to a web, and it does look much different than anything we've seen before with all these cables and interactions with the digital parts of it. If it was, say, the 9, I feel like there would be much more imagery, but you never know. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. What corrupted the Eliksni, took control of the puppeteer, and built this anomaly? Is it something we've seen before, like the 9, the Darkness, the Vex, or is it something completely new? If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.